Diana Ross was born on March 26, 1944, in Detroit, Michigan. She grew up in a large family with 5 brothers and sisters, and her parents worked hard to give their children a better life. When she was young, her mother became very sick with tuberculosis, and Diana and her siblings were sent to live with their grandparents for a while. Those years were not easy, but they taught her strength and patience. When she returned to Detroit, Diana had big dreams. She wanted to become a fashion designer and studied clothing design, pattern making, and tailoring at Cass Technical High School. To help her family, she also worked small jobs, including one at a department store, becoming the first African-American busgirl there. But even then, music was her true calling. She joined a group called the Promettes with her friends Florence Ballard, Mary Wilson, and Betty McGlown. The girls sang at small events, slowly gaining attention. No one could have guessed that this young girl from a working-class neighborhood would one day become one of the most famous singers in the world. Yet, Diana never stopped believing in herself or her voice, which carried both hope and power. Her early years showed how hard she worked to rise from nothing, and even though life would later give her fame and fortune, she would often look back on these simple days with longing and pride. In the early 1960s, Diana Ross's life changed forever when her group, the Promettes, got the attention of Motown Records. The head of Motown, Berry Gordy, was impressed by Diana's voice, though he asked the group to finish school before signing. When they finally joined the label, they changed their name to the Supremes, and history was made. With hits like Where Did Our Love Go, Baby Love, and Stop. In the name of love, the Supremes became one of the most successful groups of all time. Their elegant style and Diana's unique voice made them stand out. The group's songs were played everywhere, from radio stations to nightclubs across America. Diana became the face of the group, admired for her grace, fashion, and presence. But behind the smiles and sparkling dresses, the pressure was heavy. Fame brought conflicts within the group, especially when Diana was chosen as the main lead singer. Florence Ballard, once a close friend, began to feel left out, and tension grew. Eventually, Florence left the group, marking the end of an era of sisterhood. Still, Diana continued to shine, guided by Berry Gordy, who became both her mentor and romantic partner. Their relationship was full of passion but also stress, as business and love often clashed. During this time, Diana was learning that success comes with sacrifices. The world adored her, but she was already beginning to lose the simple happiness she once had. When Diana Ross started her solo career in the early 1970s, many people wondered if she could succeed without the Supremes. She proved everyone wrong. Her first solo album featured timeless hits like Ain't No Mountain High Enough, which became an anthem of empowerment. Diana didn't stop there, she also stepped into acting and starred in Lady Sings the Blues, a movie about the troubled life of jazz singer Billie Holiday. Her performance won her critical praise and even an Academy Award nomination. For Diana, this was a dream come true. She had gone from the projects of Detroit to walking the red carpet in Hollywood. But fame also brought loneliness. She was constantly surrounded by people, yet she often felt alone. Her relationship with Berry Gordy ended, and though she married music executive Robert Ellis Silberstein, the marriage did not last. They had 2 daughters, including Tracy Ellis Ross, who would later become a famous actress herself. Diana tried to balance family and fame, but it was never easy. Every interview, every show, every trip reminded her that the price of success was missing out on a normal life. She once said that people loved her image, but few truly knew the real Diana, a sensitive woman who longed for love and peace. After her first marriage ended, Diana Ross found love again with Norwegian businessman Arne Næss Jr. They married in 1986 and had 2 sons together. Diana called him the love of her life, and for a while, she finally seemed happy. They traveled the world, splitting time between the US and Europe. Diana even became a stepmother to his 3 children from a previous marriage and grew close to them. However, happiness was not meant to last. In 2000, the couple divorced after Arne was unfaithful, leaving Diana heartbroken. For years later, tragedy struck when Arne died in a mountain climbing accident. The news devastated Diana, and she later said that part of her heart died with him. Despite her pain, she continued to perform, using music as her way to heal. She also focused on her 5 children, who remained her greatest source of strength. But the loss of Arne left a deep wound that never truly healed. Friends say that after his death, Diana became more private and cautious. She stopped appearing in public as often and spent more time with family. The glamorous diva who once commanded the world stage was now seeking comfort in quiet moments, far away from flashing lights. It was as if she had realized that fame could never replace love. Even as Diana Ross faced personal losses, her professional life remained extraordinary. She continued to release albums, perform sold-out tours, and win major awards. In the 1980s and 1990s, she released hits like Chain Reaction and Muscles, and collaborated with icons like Lionel Richie and Michael Jackson. In 1981, she signed one of the biggest record deals in history with RCA Records, showing how valuable her name had become. Diana also made her mark in television, hosting award shows and appearing in specials that reminded the world of her influence. In 2012, she received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, a long overdue recognition of her decades of contribution to music. Former U.S. President Barack Obama also awarded her the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2016, calling her a symbol of grace and perseverance. These honors proved that Diana Ross was more than a star, she was a cultural icon who broke barriers for women and black artists. Still, even with all the fame and admiration, Diana often said that what truly made her proud was being a mother and grandmother. Her family called her Mama D, and her children frequently spoke about her kindness and discipline. On stage, she was a legend, but at home, she was simply Diana, the woman who cooked, laughed, and cared deeply for those she loved. Now, as Diana Ross reaches around 80 years old, her life is very different from her glamorous past. The woman who once filled stadiums with thousands of fans now prefers quiet evenings surrounded by her children and grandchildren. She lives mostly in Los Angeles, enjoying her garden, music, and family visits. Occasionally, she still performs for special events, proving that her voice remains as powerful as ever. But fame no longer excites her the way it once did. People close to her say she enjoys solitude, though sometimes it feels lonely. Many fans assume she still lives a life of luxury, but those who know her say she keeps things simple. Diana rarely gives interviews, and her public appearances have become rare. In recent years, she has faced health challenges and spends most of her time resting and reflecting. The world remembers her as a glamorous diva, but behind closed doors, she leads a quiet, almost isolated life. There is a sadness in that, the kind that comes when the spotlight fades and the world moves on. Diana once said, "Fame is just a stage, the real show is life itself." At 80, she understands that more than ever. Her journey from Detroit to global fame was filled with joy and pain, love and loss. Today, she carries all of that with grace, but also with the quiet melancholy of someone who has lived through everything. Even though her daily life is quieter now, Diana Ross's legacy continues to shine around the world. Younger artists like Beyoncé, Madonna, and countless others cite her as an inspiration. Her songs are still played everywhere, reminding new generations of her influence. The Supremes' hits remain part of music history, and Diana's solo songs continue to motivate people to dream big. Beyond music, her story is about courage, a woman who faced racism, sexism, and heartbreak, yet rose above it all. Her elegance, determination, and smile became symbols of hope for millions. The sad truth is that time catches up with everyone, even the brightest stars. Diana Ross has given so much of herself to the world that now, in her later years, she chooses peace over performance. Her story reminds us that behind every legend is a human being, one who feels loneliness, love, and longing just like anyone else. While her life today may seem quiet and even sad compared to her glory days, it is also filled with reflection and meaning. Diana Ross may not be in the spotlight anymore, but her light has not faded. It now shines gently, reminding us that true greatness is not just about fame, but about how deeply you touch the world and the people in it. As Diana Ross approaches her 9th decade of life, she remains one of the most admired figures in music history. Her journey from a shy Detroit girl to an international superstar is nothing short of legendary. She faced fame, heartbreak, loss, and triumph, all with poise and strength. But now, her story has entered a quieter chapter. Diana Ross's 5 children have always been at the heart of her world. Even when her career kept her on the road for months, she tried to stay connected with them through calls, letters, and visits. Her oldest daughter, Rhonda Ross Kendrick, once shared that her mother taught her to be strong, kind, and independent. Tracy Ellis Ross, her second daughter, has often said that Diana gave her the courage to follow her dreams without fear. Tracy, now a successful actress and producer, is proud to be her mother's daughter but has also admitted that growing up with such a famous parent came with pressure. "Everyone expected me to be perfect," she said, "but my mom reminded me that perfection isn't real." Diana's sons, Ross, Evan, and Chudney, have also spoken about how loving and protective she is. Despite her fame, Diana tried to raise them with normal values, respect, discipline, and compassion. She wanted them to understand that success is not just about money or fame, but about staying true to yourself. These family bonds became even more important as she got older. Her grandchildren now bring her joy, and she often spends afternoons telling them stories about her life, not the glamorous parts, but the simple ones. She talks about Detroit, her early struggles, and the friends she lost along the way. For Diana, family is her greatest legacy. Still, there are times when she feels the weight of distance. Her children are grown, with their own careers and families. Sometimes, she sits quietly in her home, surrounded by pictures and memories, wishing she could go back to when they were little, when laughter filled the house and life seemed full of endless possibilities. Fame gave Diana Ross everything: luxury, success, and recognition, but it also took something very important from her: privacy. From the moment she became a star, the world wanted to know everything about her. Reporters followed her everywhere, and rumors often filled the headlines. At times, the gossip was cruel. Some accused her of being difficult or demanding, but those close to her say that she was simply a perfectionist who expected the best from herself and others. Behind the stage lights and designer gowns was a woman who often felt alone. Diana once said in an interview, "It's strange, you can be surrounded by thousands of people and still feel lonely." Her fame created a wall between her and the real world. Friends drifted away, and trusting new people became hard. Over time, she built emotional barriers, learning to keep her feelings private. When the applause faded after each show, she returned to her hotel room or house in silence. That silence was comforting at first, but as the years passed, it became heavier. Some of her friends have said that she struggles with that isolation even today. It's not because she doesn't have family or fans, it's because she has spent so many years being Diana Ross the superstar that she sometimes forgets how to just be Diana, the woman. That's the sad truth about fame: it gives you the world but often takes away your peace. As the years have passed, Diana Ross has faced the challenges that come with aging. Though she has never publicly discussed her health in detail, sources close to her say she deals with normal age-related issues like fatigue and joint pain. For someone who spent her entire life performing and dancing, slowing down has not been easy. In her 70s, she still performed occasionally, and every time she stepped on stage, fans were amazed at how strong her voice remained. But after each show, it took her longer to recover. She no longer travels as much as she once did. Instead, she chooses smaller, intimate performances, often for charity or private events. There's a bittersweet beauty in watching her sing now. The power is still there, but the movement is softer, the emotions deeper. It's as if every lyric carries the weight of her memories. Her family often worries about her overworking, but Diana insists that music keeps her alive. She believes that as long as she can sing, she has purpose. Yet even she admits that time has changed her. The glamorous outfits have been replaced with comfortable clothes, the loud stages with quiet mornings. Aging gracefully is something she's proud of, but it also brings sadness. She misses the energy, the constant excitement, the crowd's cheers. When she looks in the mirror, she sometimes sees not just her reflection, but the ghosts of her past, the young woman who once ruled the stage and the little girl who dreamed big from a Detroit street. When you've lived a life as full as Diana Ross's, it's natural to look back